Most people don't need more inspiration. They need interruption, a sudden, soul-piercing confrontation with the truth they've been dodging, not the truth they post about, the one that stares at them in the silence when no one's watching and the excuses finally run dry. You've been drifting, maybe not in public, but in private. You know when you've compromised. You know when you've coasted. You know the difference between movement and progress, and you felt it. That quiet voice asking, is this all you've got? The problem isn't that life is hard. The problem is that most people expect it to be easy. They treat difficulty like injustice instead of preparation. They treat struggle like a punishment instead of a mirror. And that's why they stay stuck, because they wait for life to change instead of realizing they are what needs changing. You've been waiting for the right time, for motivation, for a sign. But the truth is, if you're still waiting, you're not serious, because those who are serious don't wait for signs. They become the sign. We've been sold this lie that success is about talent, that discipline is just for the naturally motivated. But that's not how this works. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And it's painful. It's inconvenient. It's often lonely. But let me ask you something. Is living out of alignment with your potential any less painful? Because that's what most people are doing. They're not living. They're maintaining. Maintaining an image. Maintaining relationships that require zero growth. Maintaining habits that sabotage their future in the name of comfort. But growth doesn't live in comfort. It lives in confrontation. In deciding, once and for all, enough is enough. There's a moment where you either start building your life or you start justifying why you never did. Some of you have been telling the same story for 10 years, why you can't, why it's hard, why it's not the right time. And every time you repeat it, your soul dies a little more. Because your soul knows what you're capable of, and it's tired of being lied to. You can call it fear, you can call it trauma, you can call it bad luck. But at some point, if you want to be free, you have to stop calling it anything except what it is, avoidance. Life will give you what you're willing to become, not what you fantasize about, not what you post quotes about, not what you complain about. It gives you what you build, day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. And every day, you're placing votes. Votes for the person you're becoming or the person you've been avoiding. Votes for strength or for stagnation. Votes for responsibility or for blame. So if you want to know who you'll be a year from now, look at your calendar. Look at what you tolerate. Look at what you say yes to. And look at what you've convinced yourself is good enough. People don't ruin their lives in a single moment. They ruin them in inches, in tiny compromises, in daily negotiations with mediocrity. And the scary part? It feels normal. You get used to waking up uninspired. You get used to lowering the bar. You get used to ignoring that quiet scream inside that says, this isn't it. That scream, that's your potential trying to survive the prison you've built around it. Let's make this real. If I followed you around for the next 7 days, what would I see? Would I see someone living with intention or someone surviving on autopilot? Would I see someone who respects their time like it matters or someone who fills every free minute with distraction? Would I see habits that build the future or rituals that avoid it? You don't need a perfect plan. You need to get honest, brutally honest, about how you're living. And then you need to stop waiting for clarity to arrive like a package. Clarity doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Most people want change. Few people want to change. And that's the difference between wishers and builders. Don't just dream big. They work small. They master the day. They fall in love with repetition. They do the boring stuff, the journaling, the scheduling, the hard conversations, the early wake-ups, the late-night studying, because they know something you don't. Boring is what builds brilliance. We live in a world addicted to shortcuts. Everyone wants the hack. But there's no hack for character. There's no shortcut to integrity. There's no app for consistency. There's no algorithm for self-respect. You have to earn it. And the currency is effort. Effort when no one's watching. Effort when your feelings betray you. Effort when the results are invisible. Effort when everything in you screams not today. And here's the truth. Every moment you avoid effort, you're choosing the pain of regret instead. Regret is the tax you pay for indecision. It's the silent price of dreams never pursued, and it doesn't go away, because deep down you always know you could have done more. And that's what eats at people, not failure. Waste. Waste of time. Waste of talent. Waste of life. And waste doesn't announce itself. It creeps. Until one day you wake up, look in the mirror and realize you've become everything you once swore you wouldn't. But it doesn't have to stay that way. There's a moment, and it could be now, where everything changes. Not because the world changes, not because your schedule opens up, but because you finally get sick of your own excuses. Because you finally understand growth isn't something that happens to you. It's something you demand from yourself. And from that moment forward, the world responds differently. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You start showing up differently. You stop asking for permission. You stop seeking approval. You stop needing the world to validate your path. Because you become the kind of person who doesn't need external motivation to do internal work. You stop saying someday, and you make it this day. You stop saying I'll try, and you say I will. You stop waiting to feel ready, and you get ready through movement. Because real confidence doesn't come from success. It comes from alignment. When your actions match your values, when your effort matches your goals, when your days match the life you say you want, that's when confidence is built. It's not a mood, it's a reputation with yourself. And right now, you're either building trust or betrayal. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. If you're not where you want to be, you've been complicit in the problem. Not life, not fate, not your past. You. And that should sting. But it should also liberate you. Because if you're the problem, then you're also the solution. And that means you're not stuck, you're just undecided. And the moment you decide, really decide, everything shifts. Not overnight, but irrevocably. Because when a man or woman truly commits to becoming more, life makes room. But don't expect applause, don't expect understanding, don't expect the world to cheer you on. Expect resistance, expect loneliness. Expect seasons of invisibility where the work is brutal and the rewards are silent. But do it anyway, because the greatest rewards in life go to those who are willing to be unseen while they build. The ones who understand that every moment they grind in the shadows is an investment in a life that will one day be unrecognizable, not to the world, but to themselves. And don't let that old voice creep back in, the one that says, it's too late, I'm too far behind, I should have started sooner. Let me be clear, the moment you choose responsibility is the moment you get your power back. And power doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care how long you've procrastinated. It doesn't care how many mistakes you've made. It only cares about what you're willing to do right now. So stop telling the story of who you used to be and start writing the one of who you're becoming. Because this life, it's not waiting for you. It's happening now. And you can either participate or watch. You can either be the author or the audience. You can either take the wheel or get driven by the default of your old self. And you know exactly how that story ends. Another year gone, another goal missed, another promise broken, quietly to yourself, and no one will know, but you will. And that's what matters, because the most dangerous kind of failure is the one you get used to. So here it is, the wake-up call, not a whisper, a roar. You were not born to be average. You were not built for comfort. You were not designed to coast. You were made to evolve, to stretch, to suffer with purpose, to bleed with direction, to rise with dignity. You were made to live a life that demands something from you, and in return gives you everything you never thought you were worthy of, but only if you earn it, not once, but daily. Because greatness isn't something you achieve, it's someone you become, one decision at a time. So stop waiting. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not next month, not when you feel inspired, now. Now is the turning point. Now is the break in the timeline. Now is the decision that your future self will remember with gratitude or resentment. You know what you need to do. The question is, will you do it? Because the difference between the life you dream about and the one you settle for is what you're willing to change, starting today. You see, every day, two versions of you wake up. One is the version that wants comfort, to hit snooze, to play small, to blend in, to hide behind I'm tired, I'm busy, maybe tomorrow. That version is easy to love because it never demands much, but it will cost you everything. And then there's the other version, the one you meet in rare moments of silence, the one you glimpse when you're fed up, the one who doesn't whine but wakes up with fire, who doesn't ask for a lighter burden but for broader shoulders. That version, that's who you were born to be. That's the version who changes everything, not by talking, but by doing, not by hoping, but by executing. And the truth is, that version is always in you. You've just been outvoted by the weaker one for too long. But today is different, because now you see it. Now you know. Now you've heard the voice inside you louder than the voices around you. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Once you know you've been settling, you can't go back to pretending. So here's the final truth. Life doesn't change when you want it to. It changes when you're willing to suffer for it. Because transformation is a violent thing. It demands the death of who you were so that something stronger can be born in its place. It's not pretty, it's not romantic, it's not shareable, but it's real, and real change is rare. Because most people never get past the pain. They run from it. They numb it. They distract themselves with anything that keeps them from facing the mirror. But if you face it and you stay in the fire long enough, you'll emerge as someone unrecognizable, someone capable, someone intentional, someone whose life speaks so loudly they don't have to. And isn't that what you've wanted all along? Not just success, but self-respect. Not just money, but meaning. Not just praise, but power. The kind that no one can take from you because you earned it. The kind that's built through the things no one sees, the extra hour, the ignored temptation, the daily decision to keep becoming when no one's clapping. That's your legacy. Not the cars, not the titles, not the applause, but the evidence in how you live, how you think, how you love, and how you rise. So no, this isn't just motivation. This is a reckoning. This is the moment the old you dies. This is the moment the real work begins. This is the moment where your story splits into before and after. And the only thing left to ask is, what will the next chapter say about you? Because the pen's in your hand now. So write something worth remembering. And if you're still listening, then something in you refuses to die. Something ancient, something fierce, something real. It's not hype, it's not noise, it's not another trending voice on your timeline. It's you, the part of you that still believes, the part that never gave up, even when you stopped trying. The part that knows this world doesn't need more talkers, it needs more walkers, builders, doers, pillars of their own becoming. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be honest. You don't have to know the whole path, you just have to take the next step. Because clarity doesn't come from thinking harder, it comes from moving forward, again and again, no matter how small, no matter how slow, no matter how many times you fall. You're not too far behind, you're not too broken, you're not too late, you're right on time. For the life you still have the power to create. But it won't happen by accident. It will happen by ownership, by taking full command of your hours, your habits, your thoughts, your circle, your choices, your values, by drawing a line in the sand and saying, I will no longer betray the person I was born to be. This is it. This is your break point. Not where it ends, where it begins, where average is buried, where compromise dies, where a new identity is carved into the soul, by force, by fire, by decision. And that identity, it doesn't just inspire others, it leads them. Because when you become the kind of person who does hard things consistently, people follow. Not because you ask them to, but because the discipline in your eyes gives them permission to believe again. This is your impact. This is your call. This is your life. So don't wait for the perfect moment. This is the perfect moment because it's the only one you're guaranteed to have. Get up, get focused, get clear. And for the love of your own future, start. Because the next version of you is out there. And it's not waiting for more excuses. It's waiting for you.